Today on UltraCycling Magazine show, Raw at 62, we talk to veteran ultracyclist Greg Cunefare about his 2026 Race Across the West preparation. Now, here are your hosts, Lee and Jim.
Welcome, everyone, to the UltraCycling Magazine show, the show about all things ultracycling, cycling in general. I'm Jim Lawyer, and there's Lee Kreider. How are we today, Lee?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Jim.
Excellent.
Rainy day, foggy day here, but about as
But at least it's warming up.
yeah,
Getting rid of all that snow.
that's interesting. Not a very good day to be out on the bike. I'll say that.
No, we were on the indoor trainers again.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump and see who we are brought to us by.
Okay, let's get the bills paid.
Yep.
The UltraCycling Magazine show is brought to you by the Race Across America time stations in Ohio. 41 Oxford, 42 Blanchester, 43 Chillicothe. We would also like to thank the sign man, Mike Minium, for all the route signs in Ohio. They make great souvenirs. Be sure to pick one up at any of the Ohio time stations. $10 gets you a great keepsake and lets us put one more on the route next year. For more great content, be sure to follow us on Facebook. Click that like, hit the subscribe button, and ring that bell on YouTube.
Thanks, Greg, for that. And so, Lee, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the bike relief.
I do, but first I'd like to note that apparently a lot of people have been hitting that like button on Facebook and follow button on Facebook and the subscribe button on YouTube. We've picked up a few people
Nice.
over the last month or so, and we appreciate that.
Definitely.
And we hope that we'll make you happy. Of course, we were celebrating last week about the fact that we exceeded our goal, essentially doubled it for World Bicycle Relief, the number of bikes we were able to put out there on the road. It was announced this week or last week that World Bicycle Relief has now put, or just made, I should say, they haven't put it out yet, just made their millionth bike. And that was an exciting announcement. The picture here shows the fact that one bike serves a lot of people.
Definitely.
And I don't know where this lady's going with all her children, but it's obviously somewhere important. And maybe she carried water on that in the morning, and who knows what all that bike went to be done, what was done with it. And so we're continuing that. We are talking about maybe another campaign this summer. We're thinking about that. And but if you donate now, and we do have a campaign, your name will go in the hopper. Donate at ucm.bike, donate.ucm.bike, I shouldn't say. And that will get your a place where you can make a donation.
Definitely.
There's a place there where you can actually make a monthly, periodic donation. That's a good thing. I feel really good about what we've done there, Jim. And,
I totally agree.
What we've done, what our viewers have done.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah, and they're generous people. That's been shown in so many ways.
Yes, definitely.
We're happy to have that.
Awesome.
So, what's up next, Jim?
I think we're going to do our weekly RAAM update real quick.
Okay.
Here is our RAAM, RAA, and Roll update for February 15th, 2026. We have 38 total racers racing Race Across America, comprised of 1 2-person team, 3 4-person teams, 2 8-person teams, and 18 solo racers. In the Race Across the West, we have 18 total racers, comprised of 4 2-person teams and 10 solo racers. And for the Race Across the East, we have 14 total racers, comprised of 1 2-person team, 1 4-person team, and 8 solo racers. Currently, we have 12 countries represented from around the world racing in the 3 races this year.
Yep, every week we keep getting more and more, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, the deadline coming up for the without paying a penalty.
I have not checked into that yet. I think we've got another month or so before that
Yeah,
happens.
we better not say something; it'll be
There you
wrong.
go. Exactly.
Um,
And go ahead.
uh, when you want to talk about Sebring, Jim?
Let's do it right now. I think, as we both know, Sebring was going on this weekend. It's all finished, and they had a really good turnout this year, didn't they, Lee?
Yeah, I counted 76. I think that's a somewhat of an improvement, and uh, hopefully it's coming back to the race it used to be. I mean, Larry's doing a fantastic job
Definitely.
down there, Jim. And wow, tell me why I'm being wowed, Jim.
Lefty again, man. He just tore it up. I mean,
Did
just
he not?
amazing. And we're talking about Matthew Left Hand, if everybody doesn't know him by his nickname Lefty.
Yeah.
And he was on the recumbent again this time on the cruise bike. And I think he did 612 miles, correctly?
612.38 miles. Let's not
That,
forget the 38,
and
Jim.
that was in the 24-hour non-drafting category.
Non-drafting category. And
Definitely.
some other nice times set there. We don't want to get into all of them, but
Yeah.
number of women.
Definitely, we had a great turnout by the women and very strong turnout. There was a
Yes.
couple of winners in different categories, and do want to give a shout out to the upright 24-hour non-drafting winner, Jimmy Toner, a good friend, and he's helped me at Race Across the East once or twice. So he did a great job doing 554 miles.
And I have to give a shout out to my good friend Valerio, who
Oh, definitely.
was there for the 12-hour, and his was 212.45.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, of course, I don't know what his exact age is now, but he's 70 plus. I know that.
Yeah, I think we had like three or four 70-plus-year-olds racing this year.
Yeah, I didn't pay particular attention except that Valerio caught my eye when I was looking at the results. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was pretty neat.
Definitely. I'm glad to see it coming back. And I think his next event is, I don't know if it's Georgia or I think it's actually Calvin's Challenge.
Calvin's Challenge, okay.
Yep.
And of course, we'll be reporting on that. And hopefully, you can find out now. You'll find most of these on our calendar, ucm.bike. And you can click on them and find out more.
Definitely.
Or you can find out more about these things going to the World Cycling Association website, which is what? ultracycling.com, I believe.
Yes, I believe
And
you're
the calendar there. We don't put everything on the calendar on our calendar, but we try to put the main ones there.
Definitely.
So you can find out more about Calvin's Challenge, which is the second weekend, is it, in May, I believe?
Yes.
Or third. And those other events too. So, yeah.
Excellent. You want to tell us a little bit about next week, Lee?
Well, next week, we're going to have Eric Newmeyer on, and he's going to be doing your event, Jim, the Race Across the East. And I've never met the man, and hopefully we'll have a nice conversation with him and get to highlight Race Across the East a little bit, Jim.
There you go. That'd be a good thing.
All the work you put in there.
Yep, I had all the excellent volunteers I have helped me. I couldn't do it without all the volunteers. So, well, is it time to get our wonderful guest on tonight, Lee?
We might as well do that. He's waited long enough. Greg Newman.
Hello, folks.
How are you?
Fantastic, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on. How are you guys tonight?
Hey, where are you at? Where are you located, Greg?
I am technically in Escondido, so Southern California, about by bike, maybe about 15 minutes from where the start of support starts for RAAM.
You got a long way to travel, haven't you?
Yeah, the beginning of that course is.
Have you had any trouble with the floods out there and so forth?
No, we don't have any floods here.
Knock on wood, right?
Yeah, we're in the mountains, so we're good up here.
There you go, definitely.
Yep, up there, high enough. Yeah, very good, very good. Well, Greg, tell us a little bit about yourself, and I know you've been around the business for a little bit, but your cycling background and history, and how you came to involved in this crazy sport of ultracycling.
Wow, crazy it is, right? I often tell people you have to have a certain amount of brain damage to enjoy this stuff.
Yes, that's for sure.
Oh gosh. In a nutshell, as a kid, I was kind of like the kids in ET, zipping around town on my BMX bike. Later on, I moved out here to California, got started in triathlons. After a bit of knee injury, I was pretty good at just the bike portion, so I got into doing just regular local cycling events, time trials. Eventually introduced to people at the velodrome. Started riding track a lot, doing a lot of USCF races, both road and track, mostly time trials on the road, some crits and road races, and I've done tandem crits as well. Those are really exciting. And then I always wondered if I, had what it took to qualify for RAAM. So after several years of kind of being retired from competitive cycling, I was talking to a friend of mine who I believe you two probably know pretty well, Pete Concierge.
Yes.
And because back when I was in my early 30s, I was talking about RAAM, and he's just, well, you have a bright USDF future in front of you, and RAAM changes your, musculature as far as being able to do your USCF races. So you might want to think about coming to the ultra community a little bit later. So I did that, and anyway, decided I wanted to. I wondered if I could qualify for RAAM. So at the end of 2015, I entered the Oceanside qualifier, and that was in 2016 when they held it, and it was ridiculously hard. I'll say up until that point, my longest daily ride was 156 miles, and it was about 10 years before this event. So,
wow.
Yeah, so doing two doubles in one day, basically, 36 hours was the time limit.
Yep.
So, I knew I could pedal a bike. I had accomplished a lot in USCF stuff. I had made the California State Time Trial Championships podium 7 times, 5 of those being gold. I made nationals podiums a lot between time trial and individual pursuit on the track.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I could pedal my bike, but what I didn't know was the mental part of it, if I had what it took to go that distance.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out. I often say it was the hardest thing I ever did. When I crossed the finish line, I of course was a basket case, and I told my wife, if you ever hear me talk about these again, slap me in the back of the head. Because I don't know. I did it and I qualified. I actually finished second in my division, and I was about, I think, an hour and 3 minutes under the cutoff. So, which was my goal, right? It wasn't really to place anywhere. I just wanted to finish. And thanks to my crew who were experienced, they really babied my severely bruised ego and got me through it. And then, and so anyway, when I made that comment to my wife, she just kind of looked at me with that over the glasses look. She's like, we'll see. And, a few weeks of thinking more and more about it, and I thought, I wonder if I could do that again. Apparently I didn't learn my lesson because here I am 10 years later, and I'm still doing it. So it's been a great journey. I love the community. There's nothing like challenging yourself from the psychological aspect of it. We were talking earlier about the physical aspect. And that in itself is obviously a challenge, but I think, there's a lot of people that can pedal a bike pretty fast and probably for pretty long, but how they deal with what goes on in your mind is a whole different aspect of this genre of cycling that I think causes a little bit of undoing for some people. I know the attrition rate in these can be pretty high.
Mm-hmm. Now, go ahead.
Keep going, and you do what you can.
There you go. Do you have any tips or tricks that you use for the mental aspect that help you a lot?
Yeah, don't start. No, but seriously. Wow. It kind of goes back to years ago. So when I first started cycling, my girlfriend at the time was a triathlete and took me up what I would have thought was a huge hill, which is a bump in the road now. And it hurt. And, for me at the top, and I found that, this climbing on a bike was really difficult. So as far as the mental aspect of it, what I've always done with myself whenever I faced any kind of challenge, whether it's physical or emotional, I really looked at finding a way to make friends with that. So with cycling, I just started, and initially I was lying to myself, telling myself that I loved hills. I really love these hills.
Yep.
And over again, and every hill I got up, I got stronger, I got better at it, and I actually started to believe that that was the case. And now I think for someone my size, I'm 6 foot tall, and I think in all my years of racing, it seemed like all the fastest climbers were around the 5'5" height range.
Yep.
I can go up a hill pretty quick. So
Nice.
I learned then, and at a pretty young age, to really sit in discomfort and decide that this is as easy as it's going to get, and you need to deal with it now. Another aspect that I talk about is, here in California, we have a lot of traffic, and at the time, I was spending a lot of time doing work in Los Angeles, and the traffic there is absolutely horrendous.
Yep.
So if you're sitting in traffic, getting upset with people for not moving, it's not going to make you move any faster. So finding a way to just say, okay, it is what it is.
Yep.
It's really key. And in ultracycling, I found out for me, that's exactly how it worked out. So if I'm having a particularly tough time, thinking about how far away Durango isn't going to help my cause at all.
Right.
I think about what my next stop is going to be, or over the next hill, or the next time I pass crew. When I did solo in 2021, we saw 122 degrees in Borrego. It was absolutely brutal, and I'd never ridden in temperatures like that.
Wow.
My years of doing USCF stuff, they always held nationals in the hottest, most humid part of the country at the worst time of the year. So heat was kind of always my nemesis. And so I was looking forward to the next time I passed the van when they would throw a bucket of water at me. And it's kind of the little steps. And then before you know it, the sun's going down and you realize you made it. And you get a little pat on the back and maybe a neck rub when you get off the bike, all that kind of stuff. But having a good crew helps, and looking at the little short bites of distance that are in front of you are really critical.
Excellent. Lee?
Well, I was just going to say, if you're out there viewing, and we would ask you to use your comment section to ask a question, make a comment. If you know Greg, check in, say hi, or just tell us where you're at, where you're watching from, and we'd be glad to feature on here and do that. Well, I noticed well, you mentioned Pete Finzera's. I got a big kick out of when I read your bio. You said us here that he told you just to wait a little bit. You're too young, and it made me wonder. I wonder what age Pete was when he first did RAAM. You suppose?
Yeah, he told me he was in his 40s. Was it 47? 45?
Wow.
Yeah, because when I was talking to him about it, I was, I think, 32 at the time. And I was, like I said, I was doing really well on the USCF stuff. And he's just like, yeah, I didn't start till I was in my 40s. So, give it a little bit of time. And
I once calculated the sweet spot for people winning RAAM. And it was at those days, I think it's changed a little bit because of some things, but it was just a little bit in the early 40s was what the average age was. And like I said, there's been some younger riders come along since then, and what have you, may have changed that a bit, but it seems to be a sport that, well, I mean, look, Valerio, he's in his 70s. He just did 212 miles in a 12-hour time trial. So, it's something to stay with you for a long, long time.
there's something about experience that in ultracycling that tells you you're going to be okay.
Yep.
No matter how hard it gets, you're going to be okay. It's like, I don't think you can train for sleep deprivation as far as tolerance goes. You're going to be sleep deprived or you're not. How you deal with it is a different aspect, I believe.
Right.
So, and there's something about, when you get older and you've done a bunch of these, you realize, okay, it's going to be terrible. It's going to hurt. And I'm going to have to remind myself that I signed up for this.
Yep.
And you also have to realize that it's okay. I'm going to get through it. And then once you get past that hump and then you get the adrenaline rush and get to see different parts of the country and meet some nice people in the community along the way. It's really special.
Excellent.
I want you to pull this comment up here.
Oh, Amy, yes. She lives close to me.
Actually, it was the one from Kirby. I wanted you to
Gotcha. I'm doing that one right now.
because I have a question for him. Kirby, from Aurora, Colorado, he crewed for Srenny and is crewing for Marshall Nord. Hey, Kirby, I've been trying to get a hold of Marshall and I can't seem to make a connection. If you would get me on a private wire, let me know how. See if you can't help me make a connection with him about possibly being on the show. So you can be a big help in that way. Okay. Thanks, Kirby, for popping in here.
Greg, since you're doing Raw this year, are you doing anything special training coming up in the next few months for Raw specifically, or do you have a training regimen, etc.?
I do. Solo is a lot different than doing relay because relay is a series of sprints, right? So you have to be the 2 years that I did it as a crew in 2017 for San Diego Sports Medicine, and then as a racer for 2018 and 19. And our format was 30 minutes on the flatter sections, 15 minutes at a time on the climb.
Right.
Unless somebody was having a rough go of it, and then they could take some time off. So going a lot harder for 30 minutes or 10 miles is a lot different than going harder for 300 miles, right?
Yeah.
So at the time when I was doing for relay, I was doing a lot of sprint work like I did during my USCF days because there was just repeat intensity. But for solo, I do really a lot of zone 2 stuff.
Okay.
And strength training and hill repeats. In fact, the road to my house it's about half a kilometer long. It starts out at a 8% grade at the bottom, goes up to a 14 just as you pass our house, and then back down to about a 12. So I was out there this morning. I did 10 hill repeats on there, and I would do stand, sit, stand at each interval at a time, and then shift through gears. Every few repeats, I would shift into a harder gear. So I would do stuff like that. But on the road, I really do a lot of zone 2 long distance stuff. And I incorporate my routes so that I have some climbing in there that's steep climbing, 12, 14%, and then some extended climbs in the 4 to 8% range. And for those, I'll power up for longer time periods than the shorter steep climbs. So as far as for Raw specifically, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm in the gym. I go to the gym 3 days a week. When I get home from the gym, I get on my track bike on rollers and spin my legs out for a little bit. Kind of helps loosen up all the training that I did. And it's a periodization process. So, initially I'll start out with high reps, lighter weights, with very little rest in between sets to kind of simulate the constant stress that we get in doing long distance on our bikes. And then I'll get into, I'm in the heavy weights, short reps right now. And I'll be kind of working my way out of that shortly because I actually have a race before Raw. I'll be doing Race Across Italy, and I'm doing self-support. So, I'll be going from my nice little, 16, 17-pound road bike to a 39, 40-pound bike because I'm carrying all my own food and tools and clothes and everything, right, for the
Gotcha, yep.
So right now, my road bike is completely loaded down like it will be for a Race Across Italy. And then from there, it's really just, it's like doing a lot of strength training for Raw.
Gotcha.
So when I get back from that, then I'll start to slowly lighten my bike up. Kind of say it's like wearing ankle weights and working out, and then you take the weights off the race day kind of thing.
Yep.
So I like that surprise of having a bike that feels like it weighs almost nothing.
There you go. Exactly. Great.
Yeah.
Lee?
Yeah. First of all, second of all, let's go to the second question first. I almost know what you're going to answer this, but how do you deal with? You've done Raw a number of times. You're going to do it again. What's your strategy for dealing with the heat? And don't sit there and tell me, well, I already live where it's hot. I'm used to it. Because
That doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Right?
It really doesn't matter. Um, so my heat acclimation process starts about a month out. I know they say it takes really about 2 weeks to get really fully used to it, as much as you can possibly
Mhm.
get used to it. And you're right. We do have heat here in Escondido, and just a few miles from my house is kind of the backside to the first part of the RAAM course, where I have a 2 mile climb,
Mhm.
and it's often triple digits there. So I'll go out and do hill repeats in the heat. And I also have a old Le Mans wind trainer that I set up outside on the side of our house where we can get very little air movement. And I build a box around it with tarps to kind of close it in almost like a sauna.
Wow.
So I can sit in the heat room there and do my intervals without actually having to leave the property, which up until this year was a challenge to get to go somewhere because I was primary caregiver for our daughter, but she's gone off to college this year. So
Mhm.
I actually have a little more opportunity to get outside of the house and spend time. So I won't go out to the desert to train for it, but I'll simulate that here with my hot room and, and hot hill repeats.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have a charity that you support. Why don't you tell us about that, Greg?
Yeah, San Diego Velo Youth is a charity in San Diego, a system in San Diego where they take at-risk youth from the local schools and they bring them out to the velodrome and they teach them values. I think their motto is one lap at a time. So they take kids in high-risk communities and they come out to the track and they learn how to work a fixed gear bike and how to work out in a group and be responsible and maintaining their bike and being respectful to each other. And at the end of the program, they actually get a free bike that they can then use to maybe get an after school job or be able to get back and forth to school on days when maybe one of their parents can't take them. So it's a really nice program that benefits the youth of San Diego.
Gotcha. Now, for Raw, you'll have a crew, and when will you start working with your crew heavily to make sure everything's in line and do your practice with the crew?
Oh, good question. We were actually just talking about that. So my crew chief, Matt Hoffman, has done Raw and RAM and has crewed both.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that was my crew chief for the RAM qualifier, and he's my crew chief now. And he actually runs San Diego Velo Youth.
Okay.
And I believe Amy has experience as well. You just popped up her comment.
Right.
My other crew don't, but I've spoke with them via email and gave them just kind of an overview of what the logistics of it looks like, just the mechanics of Raw, and what we're going to do probably within the next month or so. We're going to set up a weekend date where everybody can come along with Matt in my van and follow me on one of my training rides.
Excellent.
And so he'll rotate through everybody because it's really important for everybody to, not only know the rules and the ins and outs, but be able to rotate positions within the van. Because with the way we have a pilot, co-pilot, and then a chef, basically, the driver, navigator, and cook, and food prep.
Yep. Now, as far as bikes, are you only taking one bike, or are you going to have different bikes for climbing and flats? Or since you're on Raw, you don't really have the same thing that the RAM riders do?
Right. I have 3 bikes to choose from. I'm going to bring 2. So I'm basically going to have an all-around bike. That's a new bike I just built that has disc brakes and bigger tires. It's actually a CX frame.
Okay.
And I'm really in love with this bike, the way it rides. So, and it'll be nice having disc brake versus rim brake, especially if there's, we happen to have any rain en route.
Right.
And my current bike that I've been using for my self-support events, I'll be taking all the packs off that, and it's actually a really lightweight road bike. So I'll probably use that for the climbs.
Excellent. Lee?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any really more questions. If you have something, Jim, I just want to thank Greg for being with us and taking this time out. What's Amy have to say? Oh, yeah, she crewed for Sean last year. Great. Thank you for being with us, getting acquainted with you a little bit.
Yeah.
you don't get our way here in the eastern part of the state, eastern part of the nation, but we're glad that you're a part of this great sport, Jim.
Yeah, definitely. And let us know how you do on your other races coming up. And, we'll give you a shout out or maybe have you back on. You can talk about that race before actually rolling.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would highly recommend Race Across Italy. I've been out there twice, and it's incredible. In fact, the race directors and his wife were just here with us last July. They stayed with us for a week.
Nice.
So, yeah, and my future plans are actually I do want to do RAAM. So that's the ultimate goal.
Awesome. And
so if I
solo
can get,
or part of a team?
Solo.
Okay, excellent.
So if I can get this old carcass of mine to hold up, that's the plan. But for everybody out there that's thinking about getting into this, go for it. Keep going. One thing I would recommend for people that haven't done an ultra of any kind is really to sign up for probably a local double century, because they're like a little mini ultra that's supported, right? Because you have the rest stops, and that's kind of a good way to get your feet wet to see, go through all the discomfort of being on your bike for so long, and then relax and think about it for a few weeks afterwards, and then kind of work your way back into doing long distance again. So excellent. For the newbies, I would say go that route, and everybody else, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the road.
Yep, thank you. And I guess I'll find Greg real quick and get us out here. Stick with us, Greg.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching.
Well, I got to hit the right button.
Did we lose Greg?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh, Greg, where are you?
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.